about Life Vidya. So I'm Sri Vidya and I'm a doctorate in psychology. And I've been working in HR consulting, training, also teaching at the undergrad and the school level. And, it's also been my journey as a student, as a teenager, as an adult, as well as a parent, wherein I often found that students and parents are not sure how to guide their children or how to guide students in terms of how to figure out what their strengths are and what kind of a career can be suitable for them. How do you build that, confidence, or how do you build that momentum towards choosing something that you really want to do? So I started this because I wanted to help people make conscious and thought-through choices. Back in our time, sometimes it was very random. Everybody did something, medical, engineering, law, and hence I did it. My best friend joined a course and hence we did it. Or our parents wanted us to do something and we were very clear and hence we did it. But today, given the number of options there are, and given the variety there is, and given the number of pressures and the number of changes you see in the environment, I felt it would be helpful to have a space where one can talk to individual students objectively and give them like an understanding, a better understanding of what their skill sets are. Because school education is preparing them for specific subjects. It's not really helping them build that awareness. So that's the reason I started Life with Them. Today, we're going to meet Charudutt. He's an old school friend, a batchmate, who has skyrocketed himself into photography and is doing very well. And I'm so happy he's taken out time. He's told me don't speak too much about me. So I won't speak too much about him, but I'll show you some of the work he's done.
And photography was never my first love. I never thought that I would be a photographer. Uh, in spite of my parents being painters, both of them studied in JJ School of Arts. My father was an illustrator, my mother is a painter, and my father is now a painter also. So, advertising was a part of my life, but only after I joined photography is when I realized that I was brought up in an advertising environment, my father being an illustrator. So when I reached a dead end and I realized that it's not going to be possible for me to join the Indian Army, I was just looking at a lot of things that I could do. And I'd done geography honors and I wanted to do something with adventure. So I thought if I could do oceanography or meteorology or something like that. But at that time, we were not told that I would need biology or physics with geography. So, and I wasn't much capable of doing that anyways. So let me not blame anyone for it. Yeah, so I was working in an advertising agency in Bombay, and I was doing everything from making tea to helping people with spell check, everything. And one day, by chance, I was somebody had to go and shoot an image for a medicine company. So you see those images where somebody's like showing his shoulder or like pain, those kind of images. And I was I was one guy in the agency who was given any job. So somebody said, "Oh, tu photo खींच लेता है?" I said, "हाँ, खींच लेता हूँ." Because photography was like something not very new to me. My father did a lot of photography. So I said, yeah, I'll do it. I packed the lights. I went there. I shot the pictures. I came back and they looked at the images. I said, have you ever done anything like this? I said, no. He said, oh, these pictures are very nice. I said, really? When you're just out of college, if somebody appreciates you for something also, you're like, oh, wow, oh, wow, really? So then they gave me a few more opportunities to go there and shoot some pictures, very random subjects, and I managed to do it well. So I came back to Delhi, and at that time, my girlfriend or my ex-wife, she has been a big support in something like this. she was like, oh, you should do photography. Let me find out the courses, and all that happened. And then she got me into a diploma course in photography. Now the thing is, it wasn't a very big diploma course in photography. It was like only a month, and it was the only thing that I feel fortunate about is that I got to do this course under T. Kashinath, who was heading the photo division of India at a certain time, and he was very well respected and very well known person, and that's where I learned the real basics and principle of photography. And there are a lot of things that I remember that he said. It's not a camera that makes a picture, it's the person who's behind the camera, all those things. I did a diploma there, and then I tried my luck with at that time you had to assist photographers, and it was very difficult because there were very few very well known photographers at that time. So I assisted Pradeep Das Gupta. I was very lucky to have again to assist him, because at one time he had 4 to 5 assistants. So it was like a small school for us, but a practical school for us where we could all interact. And at that time there was, guys, you have to remember, there was no internet. There was no internet. So I mean, you could not Google things. I know it's unimaginable now, but you could not Google a photographer and just see. You had to go to a bookstore in South X and just sit there and look at those books. They were very expensive. You couldn't buy them. So our vision and our ideas came from there. I always tell people that so in short, my journey with photography, and then 20 years passed. I started doing advertising work, and I started doing fashion, and it's been a fun time that I had. And I would say, in the end, the best way to sum it up is that I had arranged marriage with photography, and I was very lucky, and I fell in love with photography. So it was something like that, because strangely success kept coming. I When I showed my work to Pradeep Das Gupta, when I showed, they said, oh wow, this is good work, and it kept pulling me in. Instead of me trying to look for it, it came to me, and it kept pulling me in. It kept giving me new challenges. And I can't believe it that it's been 20 years that I've been doing this. It's the same process, it's the same person, it's the same thing. But it's just the challenges have become different. I'm more involved in photography. I've become a photographer. People know me as a photographer. But the whole process is still the same. Every day I have to invent something, I have to create. And yeah, it's fun. So yeah, that's my journey of photography in the last 20 years. So also, I started with advertising agencies because I assisted Pradeep Das Gupta, and I was with Pradeep Das Gupta. He was more known as a food and a product photographer, cars, automobile. Um, while assisting him for a year, I realized that I'm not cut out for shooting inanimate objects. I was like, oh my god, it's so boring to just have one product there. You need a lot of patience, and I thought I would want to shoot people, and that became my passion. Uh, so after I assisted Pradeep Das Gupta for 3 years, I did some food photography, and then I made a conscious decision to switch over to people photography. And then from people came fashion, because they in India they are very close to each other, so you do a lot of fashion and people together. And so my portfolio is primarily more of people work, which people in India may not know about, that there are divisions in photography. As you specialize in photography, you're known for a certain style of photography or kind of photography. So I chose to do people and fashion. And since then, I've been working more in people and fashion work. Yeah.
Hey,
So
great, huh? Arranged marriage with photography. Only you could have said something like that.
So, what did we learn in our session wherein Charudutt explained how he started photography? One, the environment makes a lot of difference. His artist parents had kind of exposed him to photography, cameras, and visual solutions very early in life. He just didn't know about it. He discovered the skill and talent that he had along the way. Two, while it may sound counterintuitive, sometimes it is just simply ikigai to go with the flow and not overthink. I have started to find that this is especially true for artists and other professions that are not structured or considered mainstream. So, really, think about going with the flow. 3. You know, interest is a critical factor. Remember, he said, I can't be shooting objects. I need to be looking at people. They are far more interesting. So pick on what is interesting for you so you really want to do it with your heart. And finally, be humble. Small beginnings have grand finales. He started off with a very small shoot and he grew. Things came to him. And that's how beautifully he's grown. I hope you really liked this video because we loved putting it together for you. See you next time.